The judge say, well, miss, she said, yes, sir, Your Honor. Old lady, too. I guess about 80, 90 something years old. The judge actually, he said, well, miss, did you see it? She said, no, I didn't see it. He said, well, that ain't no official in the case to stand up in court. If you didn't see it, you can't, contest to it. So she said, well, okay then. So the guy, he got off, right? The old lady, she got off, started walking out of court and farted real loud. The judge said, contempt of court. She said, did you see it?
Damn.
No, but I heard it.